Hey guys, what is up? Steven here, going to do another film breakdown for you today. I did not get to do one last week because NFL Game Pass is a shit show. It's a disaster. So if you want to be able to access some of the Chargers film, you can access our Patreon page where Tyler is going to screen record every single game, every single all 22 access, and share that on our Patreon page for you guys to be able to look at. So that's a great resource. I know that Game Pass is super expensive. We also have a deal with ExpressVPN where you can get the access to international location services, where that gives you access to NFL Game Pass international plan, which is 10 times better than the stateside service. So if you want to watch some Chargers film, we have you hooked up with our Patreon page. If you want to watch film on other teams, we have you hooked up there as well. So make sure and check out both of those. The links to those will be in our description here on this video. Excuse me. So that being said, I wanted to talk today specifically about how the Ravens really got under Justin Herbert's skin. And after watching the film of this all 22, I feel like this was one of Justin Herbert's worst game. I feel like it was right up there with the Miami game. And that's okay, right? Bad players have bad games too. We've seen this repeatedly throughout the league. We've seen that this season when Josh Allen could get nothing going against Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes couldn't get anything, or Josh Allen couldn't get anything against Pittsburgh, excuse me. Mahomes against Buffalo, Brady against the Rams. It happens. But you have to give a lot of credit to the Ravens, and that's what we're going to do here to talk about specifically two things that they did to really get under Justin Herbert's skin. And we're going to dive right into that right now. So, whoops. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that the Ravens did really was that they would bring everybody up to the line of scrimmage and either showing 8 that they would be rushing 8, rushing 7, and they did this pretty much on like 75% of the plays if I had to estimate right off the top of my head. And that makes things difficult for your offensive line. It makes things difficult for your quarterback because you never know who is going to come and where they're going to come from. So essentially, when you're playing a team like the Ravens who is going to commit to this kind of game plan, it's essentially like a goalkeeper trying to guess where a penalty kick is going. Sometimes that's what you're doing. You're just guessing, and hopefully the way that you guess is the right guess. And unfortunately, the Chargers guessed wrong a lot. And so Justin Herbert said after the game that, you have to credit the Ravens. The Ravens were doing things that they hadn't really prepared for. And that's unfortunately the business in the NFL, right? Like the Ravens had been getting gashed by all of these passing attacks. And so I think they said essentially, we're just going to send the house or pretend like we're sending the house on every single play, specifically on these third downs, which is what we're going to see several times here. So this is why it's so important to watch the film, right? It gives you this context and this background so that you can have these opinions that match up with what is happening. So I think what Joe Lombardi did on Sunday, it was fine. Everybody's calling for his head. I don't understand that. The man had one bad game. He's been the Chargers coordinator for 6 weeks. So I think he's earned some grace. That being said, it was definitely a little bit confusing. So let's get to this film. This is another instance right here, right off the bat, early on in the game. The Ravens are showing that they are going to bring 8 blitzers, right? You have 8 guys on the line of scrimmage. Deshaun Elliott, the safety at the bottom of the screen, 32. You see him kind of bailing out. And then it's just kind of man coverage. And so when you look at this play right now, as is, one of the smart things to do is get the ball to Austin Eckler out there in the flat. You have 2 blockers, and hopefully Austin Eckler can make a linebacker that's going to come screaming down miss. Excuse me, coming down with a little bit of a cold. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. The blitzer ends up getting his hands on the ball. But this is what was the game plan for the Ravens. We're gonna either show like we're sending everybody, or we're not. We're just gonna mix things up that way. So it's extremely difficult to game plan and prepare for this kind of thing. The safety bails out. They still show like they're bringing 7, and it messes with Justin Herbert's head. It messes with the flow of things. There is the clock winding down. You could have called a false start there on Justin Herbert, and it just messes with things. And I know that some people were like, well, if Herbert could have held the ball, Keenan Allen was wide open. This play is designed to go to Austin Eckler. Everybody else is telling me that. So that's cool that Keenan Allen gets open, but he did not do his job here. So his job on this play is to block that corner. And if this uh, defensive back doesn't get his hand on this ball, then Austin Eckler has a good amount of room to run. And like you said, all he has to do is make that one linebacker, number 49, miss, and he's to the house. So I understand, like, when we are looking at these plays live, it's like, oh my gosh, what if this had happened? The play is designed to go to Austin Eckler here. This is a smart play design. This is a smart decision by Justin Herbert. You just have to credit the Ravens defensive back here for getting his hand on the ball, because this is where, like, this is an immediate reaction from Justin Herbert. So I understand, like, oh, like Keenan Allen gets open. He also didn't do his job correctly. So, this is why watching film is so important, because this design is to Austin Eckler. If Herbert had been able to complete this pass, this is probably a first down. This is most likely a first down. So we'll get to the backside view here of this play just to show you a little bit more. I love the double angles here. So right now there are 7 guys on the line. A 6 is kind of going backwards. And then here comes the other one. So you have, again, 7 guys on the line here once the other corner or other defensive back comes up. So this is blocked okay. You slide the protection to the right. Joshua Kelly is essentially being wasted. Like, this is what I'm talking about. So the Chargers are guessing that they're going to be in pressure off the right side. They guess right. They guess wrong on which players are coming. So essentially, you have Corey Linsley and Michael Schofield executing a double team, which isn't really necessary. Joshua Kelly is just kind of chilling. So the Chargers guess right with the offensive line. They guess wrong with the running back. They guess right with the play call. I like the play call. I like the design. Unfortunately, this defensive back just gets his hands on this ball. So maybe next time he does able to, pump fake and go to Keenan Allen. But this specific design is to Austin Eckler. It's an immediate reaction from Justin Herbert. Fortunately, didn't work out. All right, next play here is going to be a bootleg. And this was really early in the game. I think this was the second drive. And this is something that the Ravens were very intentional with in the way that they defended these bootlegs that the Chargers like to do with Justin Herbert. It makes sense. You have Herbert, he's very accurate on the run. They really like to do these bootlegs, and it gives them options, right? Because you have Jalen Guyton kind of running up a wheel route. Keenan Allen's going to come to the flat. Mike Williams is going to come to the flat. Jared Cook's going to come to the flat. It gives Justin Herbert options. The problem is that this play can't even develop because the Ravens were so intentional in having their backside edge rusher ignore completely the play fake and just go get Herbert. Just scream off the edge and go get Herbert. And he has no choice but to throw this ball to Keenan Allen. Mike Williams and Jared Cook are not even into their routes by the time that this ball is thrown. And this takes out a large chunk of the Chargers playbook when you are doing these kind of plays and the opposite edge rusher is just screaming off the edge to get the quarterback. So this is something that they did to throw off his rhythm, and it worked. This play, the Chargers on second down, I think, they're able to get a couple yards and set up a short-ish third down. So, like, it's fine. Patrick Green got hurt here. But watch this edge rusher that's lined up on top of Jared Cook right now. Excuse me. So this edge rusher that's lined up right on top of Jared Cook, he is not even going for the play fake at all. And he's going to come screaming off this edge and go right towards Justin Herbert. Gives no F's about the play fake, just goes right towards Justin Herbert. That is intentional. That is, that was their plan. And so you have Jared Cook in the middle now, Mike Williams. They're not even into their routes by the time that Herbert has to throw this ball. So credit to the Ravens here for essentially doing something and taking out a large portion of the Chargers playbook. And really the only way for them to adjust to this play, which we saw a little bit later, is to have this trail route that Keenan Allen is doing and turn him either into a blocker and block that player, which we've seen them do on occasion. Matt Filer did that in the first week against the Washington football team. Steven Anderson did that last week. Or you've got to be able to clean up this kind of play fake. You've got to sell it just a little bit harder so that this edge rusher it commits at least for a hair of a second to the play fake. So, this result is fine. It gives Keenan Allen a chance to go make a play. And unfortunately, Patrick Queen is just really fast, closes that gap really quickly. But they gain positive yards, set up a manageable third down. So you live to fight another day. But this is something that the Ravens did quite consistently, and I have another example of this in a second. All right, next one here. Again, showing cover zero. Everybody is at the line of scrimmage. You don't know who is coming from where. Results in a sack. You have Austin Eckler again, just chilling, doing nothing. So this was a problem, right? There's no hot route because you're keeping Austin Eckler into the backfield. So Justin Herbert does not have enough time to get to his reads. He doesn't even get 2 seconds here to find Keenan Allen, find Jared Cook, or anything. As soon as he's ready to throw this ball, he's sacked. So the plan changed from this point afterwards, right? Like after they figured out, like, hey, these running backs are really not, we're not doing the right thing here. Nate Tice pointed this out, and I did notice this later, that instead of him waiting for a blitz pickup, they just said, okay, running back, you're going to go get one edge rusher, and you're going to either cut him or handle him on your own, as opposed to kind of waiting in the backfield to help. So, but on this specific play, again, by the offensive line, it's blocked well, but they guessed wrong. You have so many people at the at the line of scrimmage that you just don't know where they're coming from. And because of that, Herbert gets sacked right away. So this backside angle, you'll see it right here. You have all of these players, and the way that they guess is the way that I would have guessed. So they're going to slide protection to the left because you have Owe and Justin Houston on the same side. That's what I would do. I would say, okay, their two best pass rushers are on this side. Let's go that way. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So you have, Slater's going to pick up his guy, and Matt Filer's essentially chilling. Corey Linsley, like, he's doing fine. But you have three rushers coming off of the right side, and one of them is free because Austin Eckler's on the other side because he's waiting for Justin Houston. Again, that's what I would have done, but the Ravens they were too smart on Sunday. And Justin Herbert's going to get sacked right here. Again, that's blocked okay by Michael Schofield and Storm Norton. It's not terrible, but, it's just, you guessed wrong. I feel like I'm that one meme where it's like, you have chosen correctly. But yeah, so watch Austin Eckler here. Like in this instance, I would have loved for him to say, okay, no one's coming. I'm going to leak out, because he doesn't have time. He can't go screaming across Herbert's face and go get this guy. He doesn't have the time. So they made the adjustment down the road eventually, but this is just, it was a really tough day schematically for this team. They did not handle this very well. And by the time they made adjustments, it was just too late. So, and just unfortunate timing, weird day. But this was blocked okay by the offensive line. You just have a free rusher. It is what it is. Okay, next one here. I have two more plays. One more of them is going to be a bootleg, and this is another one. It got to Herbert. It really did. And so this specific time, they're going to go into empty. They motion Austin Eckler up top, and he's the hot route. He's the play design because he's got the one-on-one. If Justin had thrown this ball to Keenan Allen, or I think that's actually Mike Williams, I wouldn't have hated that. But he trusted Eckler to go make a play, and it didn't work out. So the ball placement was not great here. You've got to be able to lead Eckler or throw it to Mike Williams. But the play design is fine, you guys. Like, you motion Eckler out. Hopefully that loosens some things up, and you send everybody to the sticks on slant routes. Like, this is a very common play call, and everybody was pissed about the play call, when in reality, the execution was off. This is about execution. This isn't about the play call. This play call is fine. Like, you could have thrown this ball to Mike Williams right now. Who knows? Maybe he gets the first down. Herbert decided to throw it to Eckler. So, play call is fine. Execution was off. Okay, let's get to the end zone view here. So yeah, Eckler motions out wide, and you have 5 guys, right? Motion. You have the 5 guys up at the line of scrimmage on this one. You're expecting all 5 to come, and then there comes a 6th, and they just guessed wrong. Protection slides to the other way. So now you have Filer and Slater trying to block 3 people. Doesn't work. They do their job. Doesn't work out. And the defensive back, I think that was Elliott, just gets there in just enough of a time to knock Herbert's execution off. His timing was off. His rhythm was off. So you got to credit the Ravens here. Offensive line they do the right thing. The call was to slide to the right. They slide to the right, and unfortunately, the way that the Ravens drew this play up, Justin Houston's going to drop off the line of scrimmage. So you've got Storm Norton and Corey Linsley blocking nobody. So, sometimes you just guess wrong. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but this was like every play, you guys. It was just slide right, Ravens send pressure left. Slide left, Ravens send pressure right. The Ravens are incredibly well coached on all 3 phases of the game, but Wink Martindale had himself a day. All right, so I think this must be the 4th play, but this was a very highly criticized play call as well. But you have the one-on-one matchup here. Like, this is where the offense is designed to go. It's unfortunate that this play happened to go to Josh Palmer, but you have another free rusher right in Herbert's face because they guessed wrong again, and you bring too many bodies, and so the throw is just off. Like, that's an okay route by Josh Palmer. Like, he wins the route, but Palmer sails the ball, or Herbert sails the ball. So again, the play call is fine. The play call is not the problem. It was just execution. So let's go through this blitz call. You have 49, 99, 93, 98, 50, and 32 all in the line of scrimmage. Then you have 56, the linebacker. So they slide protection. You see Lindsey making the adjustment. So they're sliding left. And they pick it up okay. But because 56 comes at the last second, they can't go all the way to the left. And look at the running back. Running back guesses wrong. Herbert guesses wrong. If the running back had stayed to the left side, he picks up 49. Chargers probably get a first down here. Sometimes you just guess wrong. Like, he ends up making the block. But so he ends up blocking this safety off of the end 32. Gets a chip by Parham. But you're going the wrong way. You should have stayed and gone to 49. This was all day, you guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. I wish I were kidding. But this execution was just off because the Ravens just confused the hell out of them. It was not pretty. It was not fun to rewatch this game. But I think this context is so important. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Guilty as Charged Film Room. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this gave you some context, some closure on this matchup. And it's pretty simple to me, man. Like, Justin Herbert was off, Chargers offense was off, and the Ravens were really good. That's what it's about. So I know it's frustrating. You want to make these, big overarching general takeaways, but the Ravens just kicked the Chargers' butt. And it was pretty simple. It was about the Ravens defense versus the Chargers offense. So, like I said, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the show. Like the video, comment, let me know what you thought. As always, we'll be pumping out some good content for you guys later on the road. Arjun's video this week was particularly great. Talking about Joe Lombardi's play calling, talking about the run defense. So go check that out. And we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.